Here we are, everybody. We're here in Bendigo, here for Billboard Battalion. Today's a Friday, the 20th here, and we've come back from Canberra here, the Bush Summit, which is here at the Civic Centre in Canberra. In Bendigo.
Ballarat.
Ballarat. Yeah, we're just trying not to get run over around here, and so we've got, in addition to the Bush Summit here happening, the contingent of Country Fire Authority trucks, volunteers, and so on, who are now here to also conduct a protest at the Civic Centre. Because what we're going to have here is a whole heap of politicians here today for this Bush Summit. We've got the Prime Minister is going to be here attending, as far as I know, and he's scheduled to attend, but I mean, who knows what might or might not happen with all the crowds and everything that's here. So, and we're also going to have the Premier here, Jacinta Allen, too, as far as I'm aware. So, just it is a rainy old day in down. So, yeah, no, it is a bit of a rainy day here. It's cold. She's pretty windy. We got showers coming through. And now we happen to have we've got a couple of our local politicians here. We might just stick it.
Agreement is make sure our communities aren't suffering. What you're seeing right throughout Ballarat today is doing it tough, particularly with the drought, but are bearing the cost of a rush to renewables. Their property rights trashed, their ability to produce food, prices devalued in intergenerational farming, and prizes communities ripped environmental degradation. That's what we are talking about here, and they are not. Well, I think it's been really clear that regional communities and farmers are prepared to them. We've got to do this together. Everyone wants to protect the planet. Farmers, more than anybody, understand conservation and tough environmental action and sustainability. This is not the way to do this. You don't save the planet by trashing it.
Do you feel like the problem today, do you think
I hope the Prime Minister sees it. I hope the Prime Minister sees it. We head to Canberra week in, week out. We make speeches in the Senate, in the House of Representatives, taking the concerns of the 9 million Australians who don't live in capital cities about this government's policies in this rush to industrialise our. It's out of sight, out of mind for regional communities, and we're not going to miss the opportunity to take it right up to the Premier, right up to the Prime Minister today at the Bush Summit. Anybody else?
I'm good.
Okay.
I think everyone got it.
Well, there's heaps of farmers. Get them straight.
So here we've just seen a bit of a press conference here with Senator Bridget McKenzie, Nationals for Victoria, and she was also accompanied by the member from Melbourne. So they've been involved in everything that's happened. With messages to the Prime Minister, and we, Billboard Battalion ourselves, have been in Canberra for the last week, organising interviews with politicians and so on to try and get some truth and honesty out of, in particular, the Labor Party. And I can tell you right now, we've seen the Prime Minister in action in the House of Reps there, and he's an absolute joke. They are not the slightest bit interested in what's in the best interests of our country. And now, you know, we're seeing all this rollout of these renewables. Well, that's absolute garbage. As we know, the whole climate change thing is a complete and utter hoax. It's total fraud. And what we're seeing is we're seeing the rollout of this renewable infrastructure is having a massive impact on our farmers and on agricultural land. And we travel all over Australia reporting on what's happening with stuff. And I can tell you right now, it is not what they tell you it is. It is a major impost on farmland now. It's shutting down farmland. We're seeing laws being tried to be put in place by these politicians to give them open access to shut down farmers, to bring in massive great fines. And I see the Victorian government $12,000 fine across the line to try and stop farmers from protecting their land from these things, and I believe that's failed. So, but we also have a number of things that are happening at the federal level. There are other things that are coming in from the World Health Organization and the WEF and the UN. These laws that they want to bring in will have a very serious impact on what's happening here and what farmers are and are not allowed to do. So therefore, yeah, we're in a fair old bit of a scrap here. We've got our trucks that are coming past here now. This is here at the Civic Hall, where the Bush Summit is scheduled to start at 8:30. So as you can see, the politicians that do turn up here are going to have a fair old contingency of people here to deal with. So we've got a whole stack of media here. We've got things happening everywhere here. So we'll come down here and just see what's happening.
Thanks, Bridget. Look, welcome everybody today. Obviously, we want to put our case forward to government on both sides and make sure that we actually stand here today as a community of Victoria, voicing our concerns, particularly over this land access right bill last night that we put through Parliament. That was absolutely egregious. It's absolutely the worst draconian act of any government I've seen. The Greens and the Animal Justice Party should have held their account at the next election. And farmers right across Victoria and the people in the cities as well, were affected quite heavily by the current policies of this absolutely outrageous government here in Victoria. So people right across Victoria, we're standing together, we're proud of what we do, and therefore we're going to continue to go forward for this right now. Here tonight we can see some of the tractors, we see a great number of vehicles, we're all here today working as hard as we can to make sure that our voices are being heard, and more importantly, thank you.
G'day, Rob, Denny and Ryan, leader of the next course. Well done for coming out. It's a bright and beautiful Ballarat morning. We need to send a message to the government, this government and the federal government, that farmers' rights, regional Victorians' rights won't be trampled over. We saw it in the Parliament last night, midnight last night. They pushed through this victory bill. And we'll see you be fined if you have the temerity to block people coming onto your land. Fines of up to $12,000. Shame. Legislation that allows the government officers to come in and break the locks on your property, smash down the gates. Legislation they didn't need. Legislation that was supported by the Greens, by the Animal Justice Party, by the Cannabis Party, and another dirty deal by this Labor Party and these cross-benches. And the Nationals and Liberals strongly oppose this legislation. We strongly opposed it last night. We strongly opposed it 2 weeks ago in the lower house. And if we're elected to government in 18 months' time, we will repeal this legislation and give farmers their rights back. In addition to that, we've already announced when it comes to renewable energy, we'll double the buffer between homes and wind farms from 1 kilometre. We'll reduce the number of wind farms that are built in regional Victoria, and farmers and landholders to appeal to VCAT against these projects. It's unbelievable that in this day and age the government is fast-tracking these projects by taking away your rights. And it's unbelievable that these draconian legislation like that passed last night would trample over the rights of regional Victorians. We'll reverse it, we'll give you those rights back.
Thank you. We'll head back over to Roving Ross, I reckon. Thanks, Ross.
Well, the government's way out of control. They're calling Victoria South Guangzhou. They're taking away our freedoms and our free speech. They're trampling our rights. Where is Australia going? Are they going to bring the Chinese Communist Party army in to clear the farmers off the land? No way! That's not going to happen. But that's the way this government's behaving. They're dictatorial, they're authoritarian, and we need our rights. Farmers have rights. Agriculture is an important industry for Australia. It's a very important industry for Australia. And agriculture provides 14% of our export revenue, and our government is ignoring agriculture. We need our government to recognise. Here's the lunatics. There are lunatics in Australia, and they're running our bloody country. And Tony Albanese, he's off with the fairies. He doesn't understand how important agriculture is to Australia, how important regional Australia is. Regional Australia provides 65% of Australia's exports, and agriculture feeds our country. Everyone in Australia has 3 feeds a day because of agriculture, because of farmers. And look at these farmers going down the street. G'day, boys! Fantastic! A lot of support. Agriculture. Your report.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming and enforce the laws passed overnight by the Victorian Parliament are an absolute disgrace.
You get it.
We will tax. The betrayal by the Albanese government against farmers, against regional communities is an absolute disgrace. We need to shut to ensure that there is no Commonwealth funding for in this state and across this country. Madness is costing farmers, it's costing regional communities, costing all residents right in Victoria way too much. This is unacceptable. Prime Minister, we have had enough. As regional Victorians, we have had enough. Start listening to our farmers, start listening to our agribusinesses, and start listening to regional communities.
Brett, you get to get Brett and Marsha. Just whatever.
Last time I looked, this was the Bush Summit. And these people, like Albanese and Jacinta Allen, are not welcome in the bush out here. They are actively destroying our farming communities. And they're going to come here and tell us to suck eggs today? Well, it isn't going to happen, because as you can see, the gates are locked, access is denied. And what they understand is that we won't be bought. They think they can keep throwing money at us and actually roll over and put up with their stupid policy plan. This is not a plan for Australia for now or into the future. They need to stop. They need to start again and get out of the road. Farmers here are for agriculture, which the message is clear. It'll be clear today that they're not welcome in the bush. These people are not bush people. They will be not welcome here in Ballarat today.
I just want to say something very, very briefly. We are all members of the Youth Victorian community. We're all farmers, we are all parents, we are all brothers and sisters. And if we really need the broader Victorian community to stand with us and to support that food growing community. We love growing food, we love our land, we love our nation growing, and we are being absolutely hammered. We've got transmission lines, unnecessary transmission lines on the floor.
You are not police. Come on, move on. This is my town. Move on. So I'm allowed to be here as much as you are. That's an idiot. That's on my damn.
Yeah! Whoa! Woo!
Okay. Last night we saw the Victorian government, we saw the upper house pass legislation that basically takes away farmers' rights, takes away their ability to say no to somebody walking onto their property. It hands power to transmission companies to be able to somehow be more powerful than people to produce our food and environment. People that care for our land, care for our soil, care for our water resources. The people that build our communities and make them great. For some reason, we're handing powers to authorities to be able to transition energy over and above decent food. That's wrong.
Against Paris Agreement.
It's
Bleeding and CFA here. Services. They've got everything. Very learned gentleman.
Barry!
Barry!
Stop Labor's cowards! Stop Labor's cowards!
We've got to stop all the powers.
By bureaucrats in the cities and by government officials. Stop that fight, stop the power lines now. It's check me start. All right. Get on the bandwagon and stop this ridiculous turbine. Back up again. Who's going to pay to pull them down? And we're not ridiculous. Understand what's going on and start the process. Saying how in Parliament. In a way, I'm going to tell them how we're not telling them. away a lot longer, and they've got to realise and understand reality. The people of our communities, the people of our communities, and they have to. The people of our communities, how much this is costing them bills. They're getting the bills lately about services tax. It's ridiculous. Stop it now.
Thanks, right.
Well done, Barry. Without India, China and the US in climate change. We can't do it alone. 1.1% of global emissions. Beanie, would you like to have a say?
Thanks, Ross. I'm right. These ministers. They need gas for turbines. They need to build gas turbines right shore up there. This government, Labor government Victoria, has starved this state of gas for that long. They've given no incentive to companies to gas. Their plan requires gas. Where is the gas, Lily? Last year she was in Melbourne saying we did not stop gas exploration in this state. Nobody believed a word she said. Now they've suddenly discovered gas. Don't put bloody synchronous condensers. Put a gas turbine. It will run. It will work. That's the way to do it until every single warehouse in Western Melbourne, in the southeast, is covered with solar panels and big batteries. Don't tell me you're going to build them up in the bush. It's absolute bullshit. Taking land, and the only reason they need our land is opportunities to tax farmers.
That's right.
They get on there, they put a company on your land. There's permits, there's connection fees, there's easement fees. Billions of dollars in easement fees going back to the government. They cannot lose. The companies cannot lose gold-plated investments for them at the expense of food production. Imagine taking 15 and 20% of farmland away from agriculture. That affects your food, affects your family, affects everything about this state. Food's dear enough without these clowns making it dearer. Dear electricity, dear food, they're a joke. Get them out.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you very much. Well said, Cheryl. What we've got is a country that's taxing the Australians and passing off the profits to global multinationals and corporates. That's got to stop. And we're coming over here. This gentleman looks like an interesting gentleman. Adam Giles, would you like to have a say about our government and their processes?
Well, I think any government's role is to keep its community safe and to supply appropriate health and education. But they also need to listen to the community, they need to listen to the people and ensure that they have an economy that is strong and that provides jobs. And when you're coming onto people's country, you're stealing it, you're penalising them $12,000 so they can come and put wind towers and solar panels and transmission lines. They are not listening to the people of Victoria. This crazy approach around net zero is killing our country, it's killing our productivity, it's driving up electricity prices, it's driving up grocery prices, and people of Victoria have had an absolute gutful. And now we see the Victorian government putting up taxes on farmers, taxes on every single Victorian, and they've had enough, they've had a gutful. They're not listening to the Victorian people, and it's time for a change of administration in Victoria.
Hear, hear. Well done. I've already had a go. Here we've got all the way from WA.
Yeah, Tony Seabrook.
Tony Seabrook, a fabulous champion of farmers, no matter where they are in this great country.
Well, those two of us.
Yeah, that's right. So, Tony, what do you make of farmers have come out right across our state, the CFA, all our volunteers, just give a strong message to the PM and to the Premier.
Fantastic. There should be more of it. I mean, these guys are expressing how they feel about it, and good on them for being here. Excellent.
Absolutely. Thanks. Weedy, I'm going to give you the mic.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm going to give it to Robbie Ross. Okay, well, we're back to here. Government attacks on agriculture is a very important industry, and we'd like to Okay.
A lot of these farms are in my
These guys are angry. We had the same issue in Western Australia over the Keep Sheep campaign. Huge turnout. 2,000 people sometimes. Every one of them was a business person, not just people. So we just got to shut it down. Okay, fantastic. And that struck Utica Centre, beautiful. Labour burn volunteers.
How you going, mate?
We've got to stand together.
Of course. We're doing live at the minute, so did you want to say a couple of things or maybe catch up a bit after?
Look, I can, but I think the most dazzling thing is that for all the politicians that were here, did last night with the Prime Minister that was here, he nodded and looked as though he knew what was going on. He won't do anything. He won't do the things that need to happen to change the way we're going.
Absolutely. And this is you know, they get up in Parliament and they tell us about how great our farmers are and what they're doing, and they're barefaced liars.
Well, I don't know whether you were there. Were you there last night?
No.
Well, there was an interview period there, and the soft questions, just the soft questions. What someone might have said was, well, Prime Minister, there's been a wage increase across the board, 3.75% wage increase. Please tell me how that translates to my bottom line. How do I get any benefit out of that? This is just going to hurt.
Well, and just for record, you're from Western Australia.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and you're apparently travelling with this the Bush Summit. Is that the situation? Because I didn't expect to see you here from WA from the agricultural sector in Western Australia.
Broome. I bloody fell over backwards and I broke a heap of ribs, so I didn't make it to Broome. But I was going to be even had to do it with a bloody Zimmer frame. I wouldn't have missed it.
Well, I must say for everybody watching, you know, we've been talking for a bit over the last couple of years. This is the first time I've ever met you in person, so it's good.
Pleased to be here, and this is fantastic to see the farmers out on the street just saying we've had enough.
Well, you know, the Pastoralists and Graziers Association from WA. So we've got Western Australian representatives here.
Yes.
This is to show how serious this whole situation is here. So, you know,
look, but it's across the board. The whole of agriculture is under such long-term sustained attack, and everyone keeps saying we're doing it tough in the bush. But we are. We'll do something about it. Not a low-interest loan. Change the parameters of the economy we're working in. At the end of the day, we need to be able to make a profit. If you're jacking costs in the system all the time, and their profitability falls by the wayside, we've got nowhere to go. Nowhere at all.
And you know, what we're seeing across the country is that our family farmers are being wiped out and multinational corporates are taking over all our farmland and our
Look, it's worse than that. Adam Giles, at the end of his presentation last night, took his boot off and he held the boot up. Now, this is a Kidman boot, and the leather's grown in Australia, and he went through the whole process of that leather. The damn things, they're made in India. The leather is sent to India and the boots are made in India. Well, how wrong is that we can't even make a boot here without it being so expensive you can't sell it?
It is, and when you look at Western Australia, you know, Chamberlain tractors used to be made in Western Australia. You know, we have virtually no manufacturing or
We've killed it. We've just bloody killed it. I'm going to show you something. This will make you smile a little bit, because I'm a Chamberlain tractor fan from way back.
Righty-o, yep.
And I'm just in the process right now. Let's almost at the beginning. Oh, hang on, you like this?
Thank you very much and very well said.
Excuse me, can I interrupt you? There's a guy over there with a running loader with two ropes on the side. Do you want to take
the police are up there, they're underpaid, they're under-resourced.
Well, I won't run with that.
You won't run with that?
Because,
Somebody might like to nab it.
because it's different than it's different than what we had when the lockdown when it was a proper government.
Well, we'll stick with what we're doing here and go with that.
Appreciate your work too.
No, thank you. Thank you very much.
What you on Sky?
I need more of it. I just more chance to kick the bastards.
So
this is 4 days ago.
So we've got a bit of rain on the old phone screen. Looks like an old 9G or something like that.
Super 70.
Right, yep.
But we've just taken the whole damn thing to pieces. That's a tractor.
Oh wow!
So I know the chain of the story inside out, back to front. So.
Outstanding. So, all right. Well, we might get a couple of other things going on here, and
you go for it.
We'll catch up again. So you're going to be here today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we're going to Darwin on Monday.
Yeah, Roger.
The whole circle.
Well, we've just come back from Canberra. We've been up in Canberra doing things up there. We've come back for this Bush Summit here. We'll be going back to Canberra on Monday to continue on with doing interviews with politicians and things up there.
I presented at Wagga 2 days ago, and I'm going to be, I think, presenting in Darwin.
I think Barnaby Joyce was at Wagga 2 days ago.
He said on renewables, this is really great stuff. You're punishing rural people. You're putting power lines out there. You're putting windmills out there. If it's such a bloody good idea, Sydney Heads.
Yeah.
Sydney Heads would be. Think of the wind up there. Build the bloody things on Sydney Heads and see how you go.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much, Kenny. So we've got things. I think we've got a bit of a wind up of the politicians who have been speaking now and so on. So we're going to have to make our way into the venue soon because we're booked in to be a part of the Bush Summit in there. So I think we'll look at heading in because it's about time to do that. I think 8:30 was the time to book in. So we'll make our way slowly across there. But we might just grab Adam Giles here for a second while we're here. Adam.
Later sometime.
There you go, mate. Wade Northhausen here from
mate. How are you again?
Good. So, once this is all over and we sort of get a bit of a chance this afternoon, I might be interested to do a bit of an interview with you and just have a chat about what it's all about here and what's happening. So, if that's okay with you, we'll catch up a bit later.
Grab me before I go because I'm going quick, but grab me before I go.
What time are you heading off?
When it finishes.
Okay.
I've got to get home. I've got to drive in this beautiful rain home. So.
All right, mate, no worries.
But, you know what they say? There's more money in mud than dust, so rain is good.
Oh, absolutely, yes, absolutely. So, and just for everyone, Adam's a part of the whole show here. He works for Gina, I think, pretty closely.
Yeah, and run a few agricultural operations around Australia.
We saw you.
I think, we run a big agricultural business in Australia. We're involved with other high royalty paying businesses, whether that's mining or gas or petroleum. For us, we see net zero as being a poisonous policy in Australia that is just driving up cost of groceries, cost of electricity, cost of everyday living. And that's having an impact right across Australia. And as government subsidise the rollout of transmission lines, solar panels and wind towers, they're putting up the taxes, and that's what we're seeing here with this CFA tax. The government's robbing Peter to pay capital billionaires and those living overseas, and the ordinary Australians are suffering. It's not good enough.
So at the end of the day, how many of our industries over the last 30 years have been shut down because the government refuses to subsidise them?
Australia now has the lowest manufacturing base in the OECD. When we have the largest amount of energy opportunities with gas and coal and everything else. Yes, we all want to breathe clearer, but we don't want to destroy Australia and our economy and our children's futures to do it. Better get inside, mate.
All right, mate. No worries. Thanks for that, Dad. All right, well, we'll make a bit further way across here. There's a fair old crowd to get through, but we'll see what we can do.
Oh, and really, they need to have a good look at what they're doing. They need to come back and represent Victorians, which they're not. I was too glad that they can spell out the river.
Thank you, Julie. That's pretty fantastic. And it's a big turnout today.
Okay, so we're going to make our way across here to get in the lineup to get inside the fair old queue here. Sorry, mate, you're all right, mate. Well, to everybody, it's very unsure exactly where the line is, or where it starts, or where it finishes, or what's going on here. But we've got some of the main players here. We just happen to be standing next to. So how's it? Hang on, we've got get some of this signage up here. How's it going in warm Ballarat, nice and dry?
Well, what do you expect? At least it's rain for the farmers, not that it'll convert to grass, but anything that falls is always welcome. And, you know, we're only here because it's no longer big grid, it's big grab. It's 100% a land grab. It's all in a fast of being about renewables. It's not. If it was about the environment, if it was about climate change, none of this would be happening. It's just 100% destruction of people's environment, nature's environment. It's disgusting, and they just put it down that it's best for us. It just infuriates me. You know, you're at our Cubico rally, and they won an award for community consultation through the Energy Council. It's just another example of the scam. It's disgusting. It's gaslighting. It's verging on domestic violence. What they do, it's horrendous.
So we've seen they're trying to get their $12,000 fine through the Parliament here in Victoria.
Yes, I believe it was passed last night, and we were sold out by the Greens and the Animal Justice Party. Basically, they thought if they harmed the fines, it would be okay. It's not about fines. It's about human rights. It's about protecting what we own, what we stand for. It's like saying I'm coming to your house, Jacinta, and instead of getting a $12,000 fine, I'll only get a $6,000, or she will actually. It's just ludicrous. And had Alistair Parker listened in the beginning, we wouldn't be in this predicament. He was told no from day one. And he obviously never took that back to the government. He obviously never said that the farmers know that this isn't needed, it's not right, don't do it, because they would not then be inflicting these fines. And then you've just got the emergency services and volunteers fund. It's just tax, 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 and it's coming for our city cousins. They're going to look to tax them too.
So when they talk about, you know, we hear a lot about public consultation and about everybody. Do you think that they had an overall plan? They weren't going to listen to people in the first place?
100%. They had an agenda and they were getting it through. It's like they just use the word consultation, offset, community benefit. It's just spin and dribble, and it's absolute rubbish.
All right. Well, thanks very much for that. And
Great to see you here. I thought you might have still been in Canberra.
We came down from Canberra yesterday to be here specifically today for this, and we're going back to Canberra on Monday.
Appreciate it. Doing it.
Well, thank you. So we're catching up with all sorts of people here. Starting to get a bit of a feeling for the sentiment. Excuse me. You're starting to get a feeling for the sentiment of what's happening here. We've pretty well got everybody has turned up, would you believe? Got to have a bit of a gawk under the umbrellas and see who's who in the zoo and who's about. We're old David Johinke's here as well, the president of National Farmers Federation. Interesting to see David here, given that this is about trying to keep farmers protected from the whole thing about the wind turbines and renewable energy. When David Johinke himself, president of the National Farmers Federation, actually has I believe, wind turbines on his property, and we would like to see the National Farmers Federation fight back a hell of a lot harder from what I've seen so far with NFF. In fact, the NFF president and CEO were in fact across at COP29. And we've heard David say we had to represent Australian farmers at these things, but we need to see organisations such as the National Farmers Federation actually push back, actually get very serious, call the troops in, put something together and push back against these governments and about these multinational companies to try and help fight for our farmers. This is where it's at. You can see what's happening here. You can see what's happening here. We've got everything going on. And we're... It's a bit cold for you to be down here, mate.
We're just making sure we're here.
Yeah, no, well, this is a fairly serious turnout with our farmers and our CFA from what we're seeing here. So how's the NFF going on pushing back against to these renewable energy things and helping?
By the state government. Pressure in the front. They need to absolutely listen today and understand. Absolutely.
So a lot of our and the Prime Minister actually cares or education business of just through possibly.
We're seeing policy that's already created, causing. It's not just money.
They create. And I've Parliament there was Prime Minister in just is a sideshow. He doesn't come up with anything that makes sense. No real answers to anything, and I think they're just selling us out.
The real issue here is that they believe they've got a mandate when they haven't even got the votes in the country, and they've got to listen to the country. They've got to listen to the people who are being affected. That's what today's about.
Well, I don't think they're interested in supporting agriculture at all, and we're seeing multinationals coming in everywhere. They're buying up all the farmland, they're buying up all the water. So I think it's a very, very serious situation for Australian farmers.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
All right, mate. Well, we'll see you again, mate. Catch up with you a bit later. Thanks, David. All righty. Well, I think we're in the line here. It appears to be. Bridget.
Well, do you want to? You said you wanted to have a chat?
Yeah, well, we've got a bit of time. We're in a bit of a line-up here.
We're in the line. There's so many people keen to get into the Bush Summit to give Albo their views.
Well, we've come down from Canberra. We're there, and as you know, we've been up there.
Yes.
So, do you think what's the purpose why they won't listen? So at the minute we've got the Labor Party in power, and they seem to be doing everything they possibly can to destroy our farmers.
Yeah, it's almost as if they've got it in for us, isn't it? Because despite everybody telling them what's wrong with their policies, what's wrong with the ideology they're pursuing, they're continuing to just roll it out. And I think it's because they're not experiencing any political backlash. And that's why days like today are so important, so that the Prime Minister and the Premier can actually see we're not out of sight, we're not out of mind, and we're going to make them listen.
Well, I think that we saw a lot with the water stuff. You know, we need people to push back. We need our communities to push back. So they're getting very serious about wanting to enter people's properties at all costs.
Absolutely, they're trashing private property rights in a country like ours. Farmers are saying they're going to lock the gate. They're prepared to go to jail to stop this happening. We need to stand with these families. They're feeling their very livelihoods being torn apart by a government that doesn't care. And I just think that is why it is so important, because we are so far away from the halls of power in the regions.
Yep.
We've got to bring the message to them.
Well,
so well done to you, and well done to everybody that's not prepared to give up and wants to keep fighting.
Well, I'm actually a bit surprised to see that Albanese would turn up here.
Well, he's not coming through the front door.
They always seem
Maybe we need to be round the back.
Well, the trouble is they always seem to slip out somewhere.
Yeah.
And they come and they make a big dump of what they want to say, and they refuse to talk to anybody. They refuse to answer any questions from the real people.
That's right. And, you know, we asked questions in the Senate, on the floor of the House of Representatives, and they batted away because they don't feel there'll be any political outcomes from what they say, you know, from their decisions. And that's why standing up, standing proud, and not being silent is so important. Thanks for having me.
Well, good on you, mate. Well, we'll possibly catch up here when we're back in Canberra again. So,
absolutely.
But anyway, keep the pressure up. It has to happen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bridget. So we've got it all happening here, and it's good to see so many people coming together on a day like this, and this is what needs to happen. But once again, it'd be interesting to get an opportunity to talk to Albanese, but as we see constantly, all they do is come, they make an appearance, get a photo op, and they'll tell everybody how great the Australian farmers are, how much we need our food production, and all the rest of it, and then they'll rack off, and they'll be bringing in more policies tomorrow to wipe out more of our agriculture. And that is the bottom line. That's where this all goes. This is what happens. And this is the main reason why you're seeing such enormous pushback here. This is one of the reasons why Billboard Battalion's decided to go to Canberra when we've got Parliament sitting, and try to put the pressure on these politicians, doing interviews with them. And it's really interesting to see that we're starting to get some traction with that. Would you believe, I did an interview with ABC yesterday, so it's working that we're being up there in Canberra, pushing what we're pushing, and we've got to just get these politicians on the back foot and get them to tell us the truth and actually start fighting for us. So I might call it quits here at the minute. We'll have to get a bit more serious about trying to get into the venue, and we'll bring you more as we see more happening inside today. We'll see who's there and see what we can bring you in terms of trying to get some accountability for what's happening. All right, thanks everybody. We'll talk to you again soon.